others will join us shortly, but whether or not they do, we're not going to punish you guys for being on time. So we're going to get started right now. I want you to know that I am recording the class. So when the class is over, if you'd like me to send you a copy of the recorded class, just let me know and I'll do that very thing. This is the beginner's class. The beginner's class is going to be focusing on booking appointments, processing sales, and setting up commissions, as well as looking at a few reports. During the processing sales part, we'll also cover closing the drawer. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the appointment book. Please note that this class assumes that you have already gotten all of your data entry in. In other words, your staff is in, your rooms and equipment, if any, are required, your inventory is in, your services with their prices and times, etc. So let's get started. First, we're going to start with the appointment book, and we have 3 different types of appointment books in the system. We have the day view, the week view, and the month view. In this beginner's class, we're going to be focusing on the day view and the week view, as well as booking, rescheduling, and unbooking appointments, and setting up standing appointments rather than standard. So let's get started. First, we're going to go to the day view screen, and we do that by going to this book button right here, which has a picture of a little calendar on it. We'll click on that, and that takes us to the day view screen. The day view is going to show you your staff that's working that day. And if you have rooms or equipment, they may also be on the screen as well. The day view screen, again, is showing you a particular day, in this case, Thursday, May 25th, 2017, and your staff that's working that day. Then I've got these little arrows in the upper left-hand corner here under calendar. These arrows will advance me or remove me one day at a time. So if I select the arrow on the right, I'm now looking at Friday, May 26th. Click it again, I'm now looking at Saturday, May 27th. By using the one on the left, I can go back Friday, May 26th, and again, Thursday, May 25th. I can even go back in time, Wednesday, May 24th, Tuesday, May 23rd, etc. So let's go back to today, Thursday, May 25th. Above those buttons, we have the calendar. If I click on calendar, I can jump to any month and any day within that month. So for instance, if I wanted to look at June, I simply hit June, and now I'm looking at Sunday, June 25th of 2017, and I can select any particular day like the 14th and accept. Now I'm looking at Wednesday, June 14th, 2017. To go back to my current date, I can go back to calendar and hit today. Now, of course, I could have also done that by using that back arrow and go back to all those days, but obviously faster to just select today, and now I'm back on Thursday, May 25th. All right, so now that we've talked about that, let's talk about actually booking an appointment. To book an appointment, we need to first pull up a customer, and we can pull up a customer that's already in our database or a customer that has never been entered into our database. So to pull up somebody that's already in my database, I'm going to go to this client button right here in the upper left-hand corner, and I'm going to left-click on it one time. This brings up my client selection window. Now, if I'm using a touch screen, I can use these buttons with my fingers. So for instance, if I was trying to find Matt Wiggins, I would select W and then select, and everybody whose last name starts with a W will appear. I could also go to first name or telephone number, or even look somebody up by their membership number. If you don't have any of these selected, it defaults to last name. The more letters you put in, the shorter the list will be. So this time I'll put in W-I-G-G and select, and again, now I'm just looking at people whose last name starts with W-I-G-G, and then finally, you don't have to use these buttons. You could also use your keyboard. So I could type in something like Wiggins, enter, and now only my Wigginses appear. So once I choose a customer, like Matthew Wiggins here, the name appears in this field, and now I can choose from my list of groups of services. All of the groups are user-defined. That means these groups have been created by you, so don't worry about what you see here. If you don't have any of these, or if you don't have them with the same type names, etc., that's because you created them or somebody at your office created them a little bit differently, and that's just fine. So I'm going to start with hair. I'm going to choose my hair group, and notice when I chose the group, my whole screen just shifted. Let me jump to another group. I'll go to nails. Again, my screen shifts. The reason for this is because only the people that work within those groups will appear. So you can't accidentally book something with somebody who doesn't perform that service. So let's go back to hair. Again, I've got my client, I've got my group, and now my services. The only services that will appear are my hair services. If I choose something like nails, again, only my nail services appear. So let's go back to hair and choose a service like a blow, dry, and curl. And then I'm going to book that with Kathy at 11 o'clock. So under Kathy's name, in her column, I find my 11 o'clock time, and there it is, and you can see it here on the left as well. And I left-click to block out the time. Once I've left-clicked to block out the time, I can right-click to choose what type of customer they are. For instance, maybe they don't care who they see. That would be a no type. Or maybe they said, I want to see Kathy. That would be a request. And there are others here that you may be familiar with, like bumpable, which means that this person is easy to bump if perhaps you had a paying customer come in, and maybe this person was just a friend of Kathy's that she was going to fit in unless a paying customer came in. Bumpable means they're easy to bump. Referred, we all know what that means. So I'm going to select a request. That means they asked for Kathy, and the appointment is booked. So Matthew Wiggins got a blow, dry, and curl. He has an additional 15 minutes of cleanup time at the end of the service. The appointment is booked. So once again, we choose a customer, like Karen John here, choose a group, choose a service. Under my employees column at 11 o'clock with Leslie, left-click to block out the time, right-click to choose what type of customer she is, and now I've booked the appointment. That's booking a standard single-tiered appointment. Now, why do I call it a single-tiered appointment? Because what I've done is I've booked the appointment just with the staff member, nothing else. That's all I've done. That's single-tiered. So let's talk about two-tiered booking. I'm going to choose another customer. We'll choose, for instance, Angela Gabusi here. And I'm going to choose a new group. Let's go with massage. And this time, I'm going to choose a head 90. And I'm going to book that with Maureen at 11 o'clock. This time it asks me, what room is this being performed in? So this would be more of a day spa environment. And I'll choose my herbal room and accept. Now I've got Angela booked with Maureen in the herbal room. That's two-tiered booking. Finally, we have three-tiered booking. So I'll choose another customer here. This time we'll go with Emily Fisher. I'll stay in massage, and this time I'll choose a Hot Stone 60. I'll book that with Michelle at 12 o'clock. It asks me what room. I'll choose my Elixir room. What equipment. I'll choose the Black Stones. So now I've got Emily Fisher booked with Michelle in the Elixir room with the Black Stones. That's three-tiered booking. So I've not only booked my staff member, I've also booked a room, and I've booked equipment. Now, if you have rooms and equipment, but your system is not asking for them, then you need to understand first, when you set up your services, you must also have created rooms and equipment, and you must assign those rooms and equipment to those services. If you've done that, then it will ask you those questions. Which room, which piece of equipment, etc. That way we don't accidentally overbook. Now, you might say, okay, well, we've got a problem. Like, I want to be able to book a couples massage. And unfortunately, if I were to book, let's do it. Let's choose another customer here. Let's see if we can find a man here. We'll go with Daniel Eason here. And he's a friend of Angela Gabusi's, who's getting a head 90 at the time. Now, if I were to book Mr. Eason here with Christian, it will ask me for the room. But the herbal room will not be an option. And the herbal room won't be an option because it's already occupied by Angela. But you say, no, no, no. I need to have Daniel in the same room as Angela. This is a couples massage. Okay. Then instead of booking Christian and having it ask me for the room, I'm going to book the room. I'm going to layer it right over Angela's. And now it asks me, instead of for a room, it's going to ask me for the operator, and I'll choose Christian. And my equipment. So now I've got Daniel Eason for a Hot Stone 60 with Christian and Angela Gabusi for a head 90 with Maureen, and they're both in the herbal room at the same time. That's booking a couples massage. Now, I actually gave them two different massages here, a Hot Stone and a head 90, but of course I could have booked Mr. Eason with a head 90 as well. All right. So that's the way you would book a couples massage. So these are standard bookings. Now what we're going to do is reschedule an appointment. So let's say, for instance, that I came into my appointment book. I'm looking at my all groups here, and I want to reschedule Matthew Wiggins here, who has an 11 o'clock with Kathy, and he calls in and says, I'm so sorry, I'm going to be running quite a bit late. Can I still see Kathy at 1 o'clock? Well, just a simple glance here shows me that she's available at 1 o'clock. So how I move this appointment to here, there's a couple of different ways to do it. The old-fashioned way was right-click on the appointment, select reschedule, then go down to the time I want, and left-click, and that'll drop it in. But now I have this box. This is the other way to do it, reschedule. I check this box, and now I can drag and drop. I just pull this appointment up to, say, 11 o'clock, pull it to 11:30, pull it to 1 o'clock, to 2 o'clock, etc., and then bring it back to 11 o'clock here. So dragging and dropping, simply by checking that box, it activates my drag and drop feature, left-click and hold it down, bring it to where I want, and release. Really easy way to move an appointment around. Now, if Mr. Wiggins said that he needed to reschedule his appointment but was not able to come in today, then one of the things I can do is go to Kathy's name here and right-click and select Go to Week View. It will take me to Kathy's week view screen, which is today plus 2 weeks. Check my box that says reschedule and grab his appointment and move him to Monday, May 29th, or move him to 1 o'clock on Tuesday the 30th, or bring him over here to 10 o'clock on Friday, June 2nd, and bring him back to 10 o'clock today and 12 o'clock today. Really easy. I can move him across days, across weeks even, and with my little plus and minus signs, I can even add days to my screen, up to 31 days at a time. All right, so that is rescheduling an appointment. Let's go back to my current date here by right-clicking on the day I want to go to and select Go to Day. I'm back on Thursday, May 25th for my day view screen. Now I need to unbook an appointment. So I come over here maybe to Karen John and I right-click on her appointment. And down at the bottom of my options, I have Unbook and Unbook All This Day. Now, some people get a little bit scared of this one, Unbook All This Day. And they think that perhaps if they click on this, it's going to unbook every appointment they have that day. And you wouldn't want that, of course. So what does this actually mean? Unbook All This Day simply means that you're going to unbook all of the appointments that Karen John has that day. Nobody else, just Karen John. She may have more than one appointment booked today. So Unbook All This Day unbooks all of them. And, of course, Unbook simply unbooks the appointment you're on. You can always unbook all this day if you'd like, as long as you want to make sure that you're getting rid of that customer and their appointments, whether they have one appointment or multiple. But if they had multiple appointments and you only wanted to remove one of them, then you would definitely select Unbook. And of course, if they only have one, you want to select Unbook as well, or Unbook All This Day. I'm going to select Unbook. It says, are you sure you want to unbook this appointment? And the answer is yes or no. If I select yes, this appointment will vanish. If I select no, it'll stay right where it is, which is what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to go back over here to Matthew Wiggins and his blow dry and curl, and I'm going to right-click on his, and I'm going to select Unbook All This Day. Now, Mr. Wiggins only has one appointment today, and that's fine. I select Unbook All This Day. Are you sure you want to unbook all of the client's appointments for this day? Again, if I say yes, only this appointment will vanish. None of these because they don't belong to him. And I'm going to show you that. Say yes, and it's gone. Just that one, not these others. So don't be afraid of Unbook All This Day. So we have covered booking, rescheduling, and unbooking. Does anybody have any questions on booking, unbooking, or rescheduling before we move on? Okay. No questions. Okay, no problem. All right, so then the next thing that I want to talk about is what happens if I want to book an appointment for somebody who's not in my database? I can do that by going to that same client button. But remember, if I left-click on it, it brings up my client search window. I don't want that because they're not in my database. I'm going to right-click, and now I can add somebody brand new. So again, I go to that same button, but instead of left-clicking on it, I right-click on it. And now I can put in a first name like Joanna, last name Williams, and if this is the only information I need in order to book an appointment and in order to put somebody into my system. However, I can take a lot more. As you can see, I can take up to 3 different telephone numbers and an email, but if I really had an opportunity to chat with this person, I may want to select more, and that will allow me to take a lot more information. And then I can hit save and close. Joanna Williams is here, and I can go ahead and book an appointment. I'll go with nails this time, choose an acrylic fills, and do that with Melinda at 10 o'clock, and the appointment is booked. So that's booking an appointment for somebody who was not in your database. Now she is. Any questions on that before we continue? All right. Okay, so pretty simple. Now we're going to talk about standing appointments. And what is a standing appointment? Well, let's say that we have a customer that comes in every other Tuesday at 11 o'clock. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this button that says Standing Appointments, and that brings up this window. Now, I don't just have to be in the appointment book in order to do that. In fact, from the main menu, I could have gone to Appointments and selected Standing Appointments, and there's that same window. I could also, if I was in sales, I could go to Book Appointments and choose Standing Appointments, and there it is again. So there's different areas in which to do it. So how does it work? Well, I'm going to choose Appointment, go to Standing Appointments, and the first thing I'm going to do is choose a customer. So I'm going to choose somebody like Deborah Reggio here, and then who would she like to see? Well, I'm going to say that she'd like to see Debbie. And at what time, what service does she want to get from Debbie? Let's say that she would like to get a blow dry and curl. And she likes to get her blow dry and curl weekly. So first I choose my request type, just like I do whenever I book an appointment. What type of customer she is. She asked for Debbie, so that's a request. Now, she wants to come in every week on Tuesdays. So today is Thursday. I could go back, but that's already passed. So instead, I'm going to use my plus sign to go forward, or I could use my calendar to jump to any day I want. But I'm going to use my plus sign here, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So now here I am. Her first appointment will be Tuesday, May 30th, 2017. What time does Deborah Reggio want to come in to see Debbie? I'm going to say that she would like to come in at, let's go with 3 o'clock. That's what time she likes to come in. And her frequency, I'm going to say every week. So I can do every day, every other day, every third day, every fourth day, every week, every other week, every 3 weeks, etc., all the way up to every 8 weeks. Well, I'm going to choose each week. And my number of visits, I can choose from 1 to 256. Now, know that there are 52 weeks in a year. So if I actually book 256 appointments, that would be 5 years worth of bookings. But I'm going to just say 10 appointments. So I have chosen every week, 10 times. And now the important thing that I need to remember is this button that says Show. The reason that I hit Show is because I need to see whether or not there are any X's. The X's mean that the appointment cannot be booked on that day or at that time. So this may not work very well. It looks like every other week Debbie is not available at that time. Now I can highlight one of these and choose either an alternate operator. If Debbie's not working that day, she wouldn't be here, but she is. So I can choose an alternate time. You will note that 3 o'clock is not available, but 3:30 is. So I could do something like that. Now I've got on Tuesday the 30th, she's coming in at 3 o'clock for Debbie, and on Tuesday, June 6th, she's coming in at 3:30. And I can do that for all of the ones that have X's if I wanted to. But let's change that a little bit. Let's say, you know what, no, that's not going to work for me. Every other week it's going to be a different time. I want them all to be 3 o'clock. So maybe Debbie's not the right person for this. So perhaps we'll go with somebody like Matthew. And we'll choose that same service, the blow dry and curl. Again, we're starting on Tuesday the 30th. Again, she wants 3 o'clock. So we'll choose 3 o'clock. And every week, 10 visits and Show. And okay, well, that's really bad. None of them are available. All right, let's see if we can pull one that actually works here. Let's go with Christian. And again, 3 o'clock. And Show. Didn't choose service. That's good to know. Let's go with my blow dry and curl. Christian's not available. Easy to do. Green. 3 o'clock. Maybe I shouldn't be choosing 3 o'clock. I think I'm closing my people early. And my blow dry and curl. And show. Ta-da! We've got one here. Maureen can do it. And of course, I've got her set for 8 a.m., but it's the same issue here. All of those different weeks, all of the times, I've got OKs on all of them. Let's see if we can do 3 o'clock with her. Good. We're still good. At 3 o'clock, all 10 appointments can be booked. They all say okay. So remember, it's really important that you hit that show, because if you see X's, there's a problem. That person is not available. Maybe they're off. Maybe they've already got an appointment booked, whatever it may be. And yes, even if there's an X, you can click on it and choose an alternate time or an alternate operator. But in this case, every one of these appointments can be booked. They all say okay. So I'm ready to go. I can go ahead and hit book. Appointments have been booked. All 10 of those appointments have been booked for Deborah Raggio with Maureen at 3 o'clock starting next Tuesday. So let's take a peek, shall we? Let's go into our appointment book and let's go to the 30th. And let's take a look at Maureen's schedule. So here's Maureen. Let's scroll down to 3 o'clock. There's Deborah Raggio. And let's go forward a week plus a few days. There's Maureen. Let's go down here. And so here we are on June 6th. There's 3 o'clock. There's Deborah Raggio again. So they booked. All 10 appointments were booked successfully with Maureen every week at 3 o'clock on Tuesdays. Any questions on booking a standing appointment before we continue? No questions. Okay, so moving on. All right, the next thing that I want you to be aware of is that we're about to move from the appointment book and go to our point of sale. There is a lot in the appointment book we did not talk about. We didn't talk about booking packages, multiple services. We didn't talk about the month view. You'll learn about the month view in the advanced class. We didn't talk about people on the waiting list or changing the order of people appear on our screen. Maybe you want to put them in different seniority or something like that. All of those things can be done in the appointment book. Other things that you don't see, for instance, when I booked with Maureen, Maureen could have received an instant email letting her know that an appointment was booked for her on this day. Or Ms. Raggio could also have received an instant email letting her know that her appointments have been booked successfully and the date. So those are the types of things that you learn in other classes, but I want you to be aware of that they are part of our appointment book. Let's go back to our current date, and let's now go to our point of sale. So I'm going to check Joanna Williams out, and I can do that right from my appointment book. I don't have to, but I can, by right-clicking on her appointment and selecting Check Out. It opens up my point of sale register. Joanna Williams saw Melinda for acrylic fills for $5. And now I can go to payment, perhaps. That's one way to do it. I'm going to clear that and exit out and exit my appointment book. Another way to do it is to simply click on the sales button. That will also open up my register. And now I can use this drop-down to find everybody who has an appointment today. And so if I click on Joanna's name, Joanna Williams saw Melinda, got acrylic fills for $45. Now this list is going to be in one of two ways. It is either going to be in alphabetical order or in order of checkout. Joanna Williams is the first person that should be checking out today, so she's at the top. I have mine set up in order of checkout. If I had it set up in alphabetical order, then Miss Williams would have actually been at the bottom, but it's still an easy way to find somebody because it's alphabetized. So once I've selected a person, I can go to payment, or I can fill in more of the ticket. For instance, while she was here, maybe she was upsold. So I can click on service and say that while she was here, she also saw Debbie. And she got a, let's say, a chin wax. So now she saw Melinda for an acrylic fills, and she saw Debbie for a chin wax for $13. Perhaps I want to throw a gratuity on. I can click on the gratuity button, and when I do that, I can give a dollar amount to Debbie and accept it, then go back to gratuity and put a dollar amount in for Melinda and accept that. Or I can apply a percentage and let it do the math for me. Maybe 15% on, And so Debbie's going to get $1.95 and Melinda's going to get $6.75. Again, I can throw other things on here. I could sell retail as well. I can sell her a gift card or gift certificate, a membership. What I'm going to do, or even a series, what I'm going to do though is I'm going to sell her a piece of product. So I'm able to, with a barcode scanner, scan my product at this time, or if I'm not using a barcode scanner, I can put in a SKU number right into this field here. This is my retail ready field, and I can put in my SKU number, choose who's getting commission on it, and say that Joanna Williams was sold by Leslie the BioSilver Classic Ion for $36. It puts in my local tax, and I'm ready to go. But what if I don't need the SKU number and I don't have a barcode scanner? Let me remove this item by highlighting it and pressing the Remove Item button. I can click on this button that says Retail, and now I can look up a product by SKU or by UPC or by vendor, or I can hit Search and look it up by name. So I'll type in silver, and everything that will have that in its name will appear. And I'm looking for the BioSilver Classic Ion, and what I'm looking for is my small round here. So I choose that one and accept. I can now choose who's making the sale, like Leslie, and if they're getting more, I hit more and look up another product, or last, and again, I'm ready to go. Now I go to payment. I can accept payment in a myriad of ways. Cash, check, put in my check number, credit card. If you are processing credit cards directly through the software, it may look something like this. And you'll get your authorization right in the software, and the receipt will print. Or if you are not processing credit cards directly through the software, it'll look like this instead, and you get to choose from what type of card is being used. That way your reporting is accurate, even though you're not processing directly through the software. I can also accept gift cards or gift certificates. That's what the gift box is. Again, think about this. You cannot accept a gift card or gift certificate through the software if you have not already sold the gift card or gift certificate in the software. That's how the software is aware that it exists, whether your customer bought it online or you sold it to them in the shop. Next, we can accept payment as a series. So for instance, let's you do, I'm sorry, does somebody have a question?
Frozen raspberry margarita?
That's all right. Okay, so what is a series? Let's say that I offer Swedish massages, and they're $50 each. And I've got a customer that comes in every other week to get their Swedish massage. Well, you know, in 10 services that they come in, they would have spent $500 with me. So what I might do is sell them 10 Swedish massages all at once and maybe give them a discount. Maybe I sell it to them for $425. If they own a series, then you will be able to choose series as your method of payment. So maybe she came in for a Swedish massage, and I could then use her Swedish massage series, which she would have on file. And it would say that she has 9 of 10 remaining, 8 of 10 remaining, 7 of 10 remaining. Every time she uses one, it'll reduce it so that you know how many she has left until she uses them all up. Then she can either buy another series, or she can start paying for them individually. Also, we have on account. On account allows to either allow this person to run a debit with you, meaning they owe you the money, or maybe Miss Williams actually had a deposit with you. She had prepaid. Maybe she was part of a wedding party or something like that, and she had given you $500. Well, if that was the case, and she came in and used some of it, if you go to on account here, it will reduce the $500 deposit by $106.03. That's on account. Next, we have our room charge. If you are part of a hotel or a resort or inn or anything like that, you can actually charge directly to your customer's room. And it will show up on the folio so that they can pay for it when they leave the hotel. Or, of course, they could have paid for it in any one of these other ways, directly at the spa or salon. Next, we have traveler's checks, which work precisely the same way as personal checks. The only difference is that they will be broken out in your closing report, how many traveler's checks you accepted. Finally, we have, not finally, but we have other. Other allows you to create your own unique methods of payment. So for instance, maybe I say barter, and maybe this is my electrician, and Joanna came in and did your wiring, so you're going to give her some free services. So you do something like trade or barter. You can create any type of miscellaneous payment that you'd like. And then finally, we have our rewards points. We do not really discuss rewards points in this beginner's class. That is part of our advanced class. But just so that you know, rewards points are kind of like airline miles. You can assign point values to your services, to your retail, and even to referrals. That way, when somebody buys something from you or gives you a referral, they can earn points. They can then turn around and use those points to get discounts or freebies from you. So finally, let's go back to cash and say that she gives me $120 in cash and accept. It makes my change. And if this was blue, it will create a receipt. It will either email her her receipt or it will print out the receipt. If this is gray, it will not generate a receipt. I say accept. It reminds me that change is due. If I am connected to my cash drawer, it will pop open my drawer and my receipt will print. Ask clients if they'd like to book their next appointment. If I say yes, it will take me to the appointment book with Miss Williams' name already there, so I can book another appointment for her, or no, and my transaction is complete. Now, if I were to look at her information, let's go to Miss Joanna Williams here, and if I were to look at her history, I can see that on May 25th, she saw Melinda and got acrylic fills, and saw Debbie and got a chin wax, and bought the BioSilver Classic Ion Small from Leslie. If I highlight any of these, I can view the transaction and see everything that was done on it, including the fact that she paid me $120 in cash, and I gave her $13.97 in change. And done. Any questions on that before we continue? No questions. Okay. So I'm going to process a couple more sales really quickly here, and then we're going to go through the process of closing my drawer. So I'm going to choose Karen John here and say that she also saw Christian and got a Brazilian blowout. She owes me $415. I'm going to go to payment and say that she's going to pay me with check number 258, and accept, and accept. Done. One more. We'll go with Emily Fisher here, and she's just got her hot stone. She's going to pay for it with a credit card. And I'm going to say that she paid for it with American Express, and accept, and done. Okay, so we've done a few transactions today. Now our day is over, and we're going to close our drawer. In order to close the drawer, here in the point of sale, we go to this button that says register. We've got a lot of options here, but our top option is close. So we hit close, and the first thing it does is bring us to our closing wizard. The closing wizard reminds us, before we do anything else, to make sure we've done our paid-ins and our paid-outs before we close. Because if you have not done your paid-ins and paid-outs, you may be over or you may be short on your drawer. We don't want that. So wait a minute, how do we handle that issue? What is a paid-in and a paid-out? You may not have them at all, and that's fine. If you didn't do any paid-ins and paid-outs that day because there were none, then you just go to continue. But what if you say, oh, that's right, I did do a paid-in or I did do a paid-out, and I forgot to put it through the system? Then cancel and do them first. So what is a paid-in and paid-out, and how does it work? Well, let's say that your owner is named Rebecca, and you're just a front desk person, and she walks up to you. You're an employee, fresh out of high school. Excuse me. Fresh out of high school, and you're a little bit afraid of the boss. So she says to you, you know what, give me $20 out of the drawer. I'm going to go buy coffee for everybody. Well, she's the boss. That's exactly what you're going to do. You pop open the drawer, you pull $20 out, and you hand it to her. Well, what that means if you do that is that when you close, your drawer is going to be $20 short, because there's no reason for that money to have come out unless you do a paid out. So when that happens, you go to register, and you select paid outs. And then you say, boss said for coffee or something like that. You put in a little note to say why you did it and the dollar amount, $20. Now I can print a receipt so I have a record of it. I can post this, or I can post it and open my drawer, pull my $20 out and give it to her. Now I'm not going to do that, but let's pretend I did. That is a paid out. Because I've done that, the software now has a transaction for that $20 that left the drawer. And because of that, it knows that that $20 has left, so you're no longer short $20. Now, what if that didn't happen and Rebecca came up to you and said, here's $20, stick it in the drawer because I took it out of the drawer a few days ago? Well, if you do that a few days ago, you were probably short. But if you didn't do it paid out. But now, if you were to just accept that money, at the end of the day when you did your count and everything and you were going to do your deposits, you would be $20 over. You don't want that either. You want the drawer to be right. So we're going to go to register and we're going to go to paid ins. And I can say, Rebecca paid back for coffee, $20. And again, post or post and open. If I did that, the system now has a record of why that $20 came in, and now you're not over $20 on your drawer. Those are your paid ins and your paid outs. So once again, we go to register, close. It reminds us, do you have any paid ins or paid outs that you haven't done today that you need to do before we close? No? Continue. Now it wants to know how much money are you going to leave in the drawer for tomorrow? That's what we're going to start tomorrow with. So I'm going to say we're going to leave maybe $50 in, or maybe $25 or $7. I put in whatever number I'm going to leave in the drawer. I'm going to say $50 and accept. We brought in $106.03 in cash that day, and $415 in checks, and $60 in credit cards, specifically American Express. My total deposit, therefore, is going to be $581.03. My total cash is going to be $106.03. Now, you might say, okay, but I left $50 in the drawer, so why isn't this $56.03 instead of $106? Because I'm leaving $50 in the drawer. Well, the reason for that was because my drawer started with $50. Just like I'm leaving $50 in for tomorrow. My drawer started with $50 today. So whatever cash I brought in, because I'm leaving the same float in that I started with, is the money that's coming out. I can put in a deposit number or not. I can create a receipt that will print out my deposit or not. That's like my deposit slip, and accept. It will then show me everything that I did that day and whether or not I'm over short. And I've got my register, what I started with, my receipts, my deposits, my expected total, my money left in the drawer, my final register total, and what I'm over short, if anything. My receipts, $106.03 in cash, $415 in checks, $60 in credit cards, etc. My totals, and then also my deposits and my sales breakdown. It's all for me here on my closing register. I can print this out, or I can just accept it. I'm going to accept, and done. If I printed it, it would have done the same thing, except it would have also printed out. So now I'm going to go ahead and exit. That is closing my drawer after processing sales. Any questions on that before we continue?
No.
All right. Okay, now again, just like in the appointment book, there's a lot of things here in the point of sale that we did not cover. Putting appointments on hold, checking the client's history right from the point of sale, adding a transaction note. By the way, we cover transaction notes in the advanced class. Selling a series or selling a gift certificate, we didn't cover those. We didn't cover selling a membership or selling professional products, etc. We didn't cover pulling up a customer brand new from the point of sale. And yeah, I can open my drawer again and add somebody brand new. Or even doing a one-time. A one-time means you don't care who the customer is. So there's a lot of things in the point of sale that we didn't cover. We just covered the basics of processing sales, taking their money in, and closing the drawer. So we're about to go to setting up commissions. Any questions at all on what we've done? Okay. All right, I'm going to do one more sale here. I'm going to go with, in fact, I'm going to do a brand new one. I'm going to choose Joanna Haberly here and say that she saw Christian and she got a blow dry and curl, and that also Christian sold her the Justin All-in-One shampoo, and that she gave a gratuity to Christian as well, and we'll say that she gave him $10. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to be using Christian when we talk about our commissions. And I'll go to payment, just say that we did it in cash, accept, ask client if they'd like to book their next appointment, no, and exit. Now, commissions, payroll, and I go to employee. Now, I'm not going to be going through all of the processes of payroll here, just the commissions. So the first thing I can do is commission schedules and go to sliding commissions. You may not be using sliding commissions, but I want you to understand what they are. So I'm going to go to add modify tables here, and I'm going to choose my operator, Christopher Rosenthal, who is Christian. That's his operator name. Now, for service sales, I'm saying from nothing to $1,499, he's going to get 50%. From $1,499 and a penny to $2,000, he's going to get 55%. From $2,000 and a penny to $2,500, 60%, etc. I can do that up to 6 different scales, and I put in the numbers that I want. 6 different scales for service sliding commission. And then my retail sales, I can do the same thing. Up to 6 different scales for retail as well. I said from 0 to 500, 5%, from 500 and a penny to 750, 750, etc. Once I've set this up, I can press save, and I'm done setting up Christian's sliding scale commission. What if you don't use sliding scale? There's a couple of others. We'll go back to employees. We'll go back to commission rates. And this time we'll go to service rates. And I will choose an operator, like Christian. And I will choose every service and give him a percentage, like 50%, and accept. That means that every service Christian does, he gets 50% on. I could do that, but I could also choose individual services. Like, for instance, when he does an anti-curl and blow dry, maybe I say on that he gets 45%. So I said he gets 50% on everything, but that he gets 45. When he does a blow dry and curl, he gets 45. When he does a recondition, he gets 45. So I can do individuals as well. Finally, my third way is dollar amount. So I can go back to my commission rates and go to my dollar amounts. And I can choose Christian again, and I can go to any particular service. This service is a $65 service, and I'm saying he's going to get $32.50. That's what I've already set up for him. Let's go with the blow dry. I haven't set this one up. It's a $42 service, and my amount I'm going to give him is $21, and accept. Now you'll notice I'm giving him half. That would be the same as 50%. But so then why didn't I just go with 50%? Well, the reason is because what if I change my prices? So if I changed my price on a blow dry from $42 to $50, Christian, if I had him set at 50%, would have gotten an automatic raise. Instead of getting $21, he would have gotten $25 because he's getting 50%, and I just raised my prices. But perhaps the reason I'm raising my prices is because my salon or spa payables have gone up. My costs have gone up, but Christian's haven't. And Christian has agreed to $21 on that service. So I needed to raise my prices to pay for rent or electricity or insurance, whatever it is, and he's still getting his $21, but now I'm making a little bit more money on that service as the owner. So that's one reason why you may go with dollar amounts rather than percentages, but it's entirely up to you. Most places do go with percentages, and that's why it's here for you. Once we have set up our commissions, then we can go into reports. And from reports, we can go to sales, operator reports, and all the way down here at the bottom, we have commission reports. And we've got all sorts of different commission reports. Depending on what type of commission you have set up for your employee, that will determine what type of report you run. So a standard percentage report, commission would work well with the commission sales analysis. So let's try that one. We'll go with Christian and accept. I can put in any date range I want. So I can do it for the week, or I can do it for a pay period, or I can do it for a single day, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it just for a single day, and I'm going to say view report and accept. If I didn't view the report, it would have just printed automatically. But by selecting View Report, I get to see it first. So here's my Bella Renaissance commission sales analysis, all registers for the period from May 25th of 2017 to May 25th of 2017 for Opera Christian. And it shows me the services rendered. Karen John got a Brazilian blowout, won. There was an hour and 15 minutes spent on that. The price was $365. Were any discounts applied? No. So what was the total amount? $365. What's his commission on that? 50%. What's his commission pay? $182.50. He also saw Joanna Haberly and gave her a blow dry and curl. Did one for a total of 1 hour. The price was $50. No discounts were applied. Total amount was $50. Commission was 45% on this one, so he gets $22.50 on this. So then I get to see my totals for all services. 2 hours and 15 minutes, $415, and he gets $205 in commission. That's for services. Right here, I've got my products sold. He sold Joanna Haberly a Justin All-in-One shampoo. $21. He gets 15% of that. $3.15. So total for all products and services, $208.15. Finally, tips received, Joanna Haberly, client tip, $10. And now I have total for commission on products, services, and tips, $218.15. That's the kind of report you can run for commissions. Again, that's just one of many different reports you can run based on what type of commission you have set up for your employee. Any question on commissions?
No, thank you.
No questions. Wow, nobody's had any questions today. We really ran through this. Okay, well, now I want to open it up to general questions. Was there something you were hoping I was going to show you in this class that I didn't? Or do you have any questions on anything at all that I showed you today?
I do.
Okay, well, I do want to remind you that I have recorded this class. If you would like a recording of this class that you just took, I can email it to you. So I'll start with you, Jocelyn. Would you like me to email you this class that you just took?
Yes, please.
Okay, and so I'm just going to copy down the email address that you have put into the system, unless you would like me to send it to one of the others. To a different one.
Oh, that one's good.
All right, so that's the Gmail one, so I'll do that. And then my guests from the Spa Within, would you like me to email you as well?
Yes, please.
Okay, I don't show an email address for you here. Would you like me to simply send it to the email we have on file here at Pro Solutions, or do you want to give me an email address now?
The email that you have on file should be good. Are you able to view
All
that?
right. Yeah, I can tell you what that is right now. Hang on.
Sure, thank you.
Sure thing. Bear with me just a moment while I pull up that account.
Thank you.
Okay, in Manchester.
Yep.
Okay, and that is, I've got two of them. Do you want me to send it to the AnnFD one, or do you want me to send it to the info@ one?
Info, please.
You've got it. I'll send it to the info@. You'll both have those probably within, well, definitely before the end of day, but within the next hour more than likely.
Excellent.
All right, thank you, ladies, for attending today. And one of the things that I always tell people as we're going is that the people who know, know the most about the software are the people who end up enjoying the software the most and get the most out of it. So I really do appreciate the fact that you took time today to learn a little bit about your software. I hope that you found it informative, and you'll be receiving those emails from me shortly. Again, thank you so much, and have a great day.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.